Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn Tosfos Dibra Maschil Va'amai Korele Gemara Chulu Mao Detema. Let's begin by looking at the flowchart of the Gemara so we could see what Tosfos is coming to explain. So in the Gemara, we asked why, after counting the cases that are Rishus HaYachid, does the Brisa say Zui Rishus HaYachid? This is a Rishus HaYachid, and we explain it's telling us this is a Rishus HaYachid, but not the case that Rabbi Yehuda says is a Rishus HaYachid. That case is not a Rishus HaYachid. The Gemara then went on to ask, why does it say Zui Rishus HaYachid Gemura? Why is the word Gemura used? And to that we answered that it's telling us not to make a mistake and think that the case of Rabbi Yehuda is not treated like a Rishus HaYachid midrabanan, but it is a Rishus HaYachid min ha-Torah. The word Gemura tells us that it's not a Rishus HaYachid whatsoever. So Zui Rishus HaYachid tells us that we don't treat it like a Rishus HaYachid. Gemura tells us that it's not a Rishus HaYachid whatsoever, not only not midrabanan, but also not min ha-Torah. So this is the part of the Gemara that Tosfos is going to come to explain and talk about. So let's see the general outline of Tosfos. In the Gemara we explained that Zui Rishus HaYachid Gemura, the word Gemura teaches us that the case of Rabbi Yehuda isn't a Rishus HaYachid at all. Not midrabanan and not min ha-Torah. So Tosfos is going to point out, and it's a question, a difficulty on our Gemara, that it actually seems to mean the opposite. If we read it simply, the word Gemura will actually be indicating that the case of Rabbi Yehuda is a Rishus HaYachid on some level. Not that it's not a Rishus HaYachid whatsoever, but that it is a Rishus HaYachid somewhat. So let's see Tosfos now in the flowchart form. So in the Gemara we explained that Zui Rishus HaYachid Gemura, the word Gemura teaches us that the case of Rabbi Yehuda isn't a Rishus HaYachid at all. So Tosfos points out a difficulty from the Ri. He doesn't ask it as a question. He doesn't say Tema, it's a wonder, or Kasha, it's difficult, but it's really a difficulty on the Gemara, and that's why it's in a question. That Gemura actually indicates the opposite. Let's see how it means the opposite. When we say Zui Rishus HaYachid Gemura, this is a complete Rishus HaYachid. That indicates, but this one's the complete Rishus HaYachid, but this one isn't complete. It's only somewhat of Rishus HaYachid. So if we actually look at the word Gemura, it'll bring out the total opposite point. When we say that something is a complete Rishus HaYachid as opposed to something else, the indication is that the something else is not complete, it's only somewhat of a Rishus HaYachid. So Tosfos points out that we have this difficulty on our Gemara, because the Gemara says that the word Gemara teaches us that this is a complete Rishus HaYachid, and this is not a Rishus HaYachid whatsoever. And Tosfos is pointing out that actually, if we read it based on the regular rules of logic, it would indicate the opposite, that this is complete. This is a complete Rishus HaYachid, but this one is only somewhat of a Rishus HaYachid. And Tosfos concludes that Rashi answered it. He answered this question b'doichak based on the Gemara. What Rashi says is that the word Gemara tells us this is a Rishus HaYachid. Why is it a Rishus HaYachid? Gemara, because it completed its walls. However, this one did not complete its walls. The case of Rabbi Yehuda only has 2 walls, and therefore it's not a Rishus HaYachid at all. So the word Gemara is just emphasizing that it's a Rishus HaYachid because it completed its walls. We're bringing out the reason so that we could know that the one that did not complete its walls is not a Rishus HaYachid at all. The reason, it's the simple reason why this is only an answer b'doichak is because it's not actually using the word Gemura in its simple form. Simply when we translate the word Gemura in the context of the sentence, it's saying this is a complete Rishus HaYachid, which then, as we explained, indicates that this one is not complete, it's only somewhat. So here in Tosfos is pointing out a difficulty in our Gemara and mentioning that Rashi answers this question b'doichak using the context of our Gemara, that the word complete relates to completing the walls, and the reason why it's a Rishus HaYachid, and therefore the one that did not complete its walls does not have the reason to be Rishus HaYachid, and it's not a Rishus HaYachid at all.